Welcome back everyone to our video series, and for our new viewers, please remember to subscribe at the end of this video so you'll be notified about upcoming videos. We get a lot of calls and emails lately, panicked students who can't sleep at night, worried about the new test for July 1st of this year. And yes, there is a new test for July 1st of this year, but let's break it down, okay? Just take a deep breath here. There's only a couple of things to keep in mind about the new July 1st test. Number one, it's the same old test. The new test is the old test. It just has a few more questions added to it. Think about it this way. They can't make up new facts. This is not a real estate exam. It's not an architecture exam. It's not a nursing exam. It's a barber exam or a cosmetology exam, maybe skin, maybe nails. They can't make up new facts. All they can do is add questions to the test, and that's exactly what they did. They just added questions to the test. And unfortunately, for those of you in Connecticut, they shortened the length of time you have to take the test by 30 minutes. So you have more questions and less time. Yes, it's hard, which means you really need to pay attention to what you're doing. But the takeaway from all this is simple. The basic layout of the test has not changed. And I wish the Barber instructors would stress this point to the Barber students. They wouldn't call us panicked, okay? In this video, we're going to discuss probably your least favorite topic, that being infection control. Now, before you swipe right and go to something which is more fun, you are here because you want to pass the test, correct? This is how you're going to pass the test. While infection control might not be your favorite topic, I guarantee you it's the favorite topic of the Board of Barber Examiners. And for one simple reason. If you look on your state board's website, the Barber Board, like the Cosmetology Board, is tasked with one simple thing: protection of the public. Not protection of the public from bad haircuts, protection of the public from getting sick in your barbershop. This is why they are so insanely focused on infection control. Now, if you get only one thing out of this video today, let it be this. Hair cutting and shaving is not the most heavily tested thing on the Barber exam. In some states, hair cutting and shaving is the second most heavily tested thing. In some states, it's the third or even fourth most heavily tested thing. But there's one thing all states have in common. Infection control is always the most heavily tested subject. And there is no state where it's not the most heavily tested subject. Now, having said all that, there are some variations from state to state in the exam. Some states have a low of 29% of their questions on infection control. Other states have a high of 35% of their questions on infection control. But at the end of the day, it doesn't make any difference. It's still roughly 1/3, which translates to 1 out of every 3 questions will be on infection control. Now, if you do some math, that tells you that if you blow the infection control questions out of the water, the highest you can get is 66%. And there is no state in the country that will give you a license with a score of 66%. What I'm saying is, you cannot pass your test and get a license without infection control. I don't care how well you cut hair, because the state doesn't really care how well you cut hair. They're primarily concerned with your knowledge of infection control. Everything else is secondary to that. Now, you might ask yourself, then what do they really care about? They care about you not getting your customers sick. That's what they really care about. So with that in mind, let's take a look at Chapter 4 in this version of the textbook. On page 56, it begins with the discussion of decontamination. Now, we'll be putting some slides here during the time I'm talking. At the end of the video, please do yourself a big favor. Rerun the video, stop it when the slides come up, write the words down. Don't take a snapshot with your phone. It doesn't work as well. Write them down. I know paper's expensive. Nothing is cheap anymore. Paper is expensive, but it's a lot less expensive than paying to take your test 3, 4, or 5 times. So at the end of the video, stop it, go to the slides, write the words down. You're going to see all these things on your test. Okay, decontamination is broken down into 4 subject areas. There's cleaning, sanitation, disinfection, and sterilization. Number one up with the slide is cleaning. This is a mechanical process such as scrubbing. You use soap and water or detergent. It removes all the visible dirt and debris from the object. This is the level required on people such as yourself when you wash your hands. The state likes to ask a question about what must you do before meeting your next client? You must wash your hands. Sometimes it's worded as what level of decontamination do you accomplish by washing your hands? Cleaning. Okay? It will be on your test in one form or another. Then there's sanitizing. Sanitizing is a chemical process. It reduces the amount of disease-causing germs on a surface to a safe level. Now, I know this sounds like a lot of information, and it is, but you need to write these things down and memorize them because you will see them on your test. Number 3 is disinfection or disinfecting. Again, a chemical process used on non-porous items. It destroys harmful bacteria except for bacterial spores, one of the state's favorite test areas. An example of a disinfecting solution that you're all familiar with is Barbicide. Okay? It will kill pretty much everything except bacterial spores. This is the level required in the barbershop for tools and equipment. If the state asks you the question, what is the level of decontamination required on the barber, him or herself? The answer is cleaning. You wash your hands. If they ask you the question, what is the level required in the barber shop or on the tools and equipment in the barber shop, then the level is disinfection. It's a chemical process. Finally, on page 72 of your book is sterilization. Sterilization destroys all bacteria, both good and bad, including bacterial spores. Because this level is not required in the barbershop, it's generally not asked on your test, other than to say sterilization will destroy everything, including bacterial spores. Now, I realize this is a lot of information, and because I try to keep these videos short, we're going to wrap it up here in just a moment. Okay? In our next video, we will continue this chapter. Okay, it's probably the only chapter we're going to have 2 videos on, because again, I want to try to keep them short. Okay? As always, if you haven't subscribed, please do so you'll be notified of new videos. And contact us, whether you phone call, email, text us, comments below this video on the things you would like to hear about. And we look forward to seeing you on our next video, which will be the end of Chapter 4, Infection Control. Thank you.